I want to welcome you back to my homemaking journey. Today's video, I'm going to be focusing on refreshing some of my decor, deep cleaning the kitchen, and making a sourdough pizza crust from scratch. If you're new to my channel and haven't watched one of my videos before, my name is Marissa, also known as Homemaking with Marissa. I am a wife and part-time working mom to 3 children, ranging in age from 16 down to 4 years old. I hope that this channel provides a little bit of motivation for you, but also encourages you to slow down and enjoy the simplicities of life. First on my list, new curtains for the dining room. These have really been a headache. I initially thought that they came in a set, then later realized it only had one section. I ordered a second. Then I realized that I had ordered them both in a 96-inch length, when 84 would have been more appropriate. Stick around and I'll show you how I'm temporarily resolving that problem until I can get them altered. Why not order them in a shorter length, you ask? Well, because they're sold out, of course. I do like the details of these curtains. They came from Target and from the Magnolia Homes line. My temporary solution is to take clear hairbands. Yes, clear hairbands. Tie them to the bottom and tuck them under, just to keep them from dragging on the floor. I'd hate for one of the children to step on the bottom and rip it from the wall. It's an unconventional solution, but it's really the best I could come up with, until I can get them altered, that is. So for now, I will just tie my little hairbands to the bottom of my curtains, and here they will hang until they can be mended. I love how the gray and white of the new curtains ties in with the patio furniture. It feels like we're extending the home to the outside. And while these aren't perfect, I'm satisfied with the way they are for now. Next, I'm moving on to some detailed cleaning inside the kitchen. If you're new to my channel and haven't watched before, this kitchen remodel is something my husband and I have been working on for at least the last 6 months. Our appliances are mismatched, and while that's maybe not the perfect solution, it's what fits within our budget for now. I really cannot stand this glass top stove. It always looks dirty, things stick to the bottom, and being white, it shows every smudge and stain. I'm focusing today on using an SOS pad to get some of the markings off, and then we'll spray it with some all-purpose cleaner and wipe it off. I've spoken about little luxuries before in prior videos. I don't know what it is about this little soap container that brings me so much joy. Something about having it decanted into something that I think is beautiful sitting on my countertop just makes me smile. Today, I'm refilling it. I'm using a Mrs. Meyer's hand soap that is in a basil scent. Admittedly, it's not my favorite, but it's what I have, and I'll use it until it's gone. I have dreamed of an all-white kitchen my entire adult life. It feels so surreal when dreams become a reality, don't you think? Once the kitchen's finished, I'll be sharing the entire renovation project in a video. My husband redid the lighting, painted the cabinets, swapped out the hardware, and tiled the backsplash. He does have a couple of things he needs to finish up before the project is complete. Most of my decor came off of Amazon. Everything from the amber soap dish to the little gold tray and the scrub brush that I used to clean the dishes. The addition of flowers and candles really warm up the space. I made this candle myself, repurposing a dish that I had purchased originally from Target to make sure that it didn't go to waste. I love the glow in the afternoon while I clean the space. Do you think that aprons are a bit old-fashioned? I used to. But now I realize that I'm a bit of a messy cook, and to make sure that I'm protecting my clothing, it really is important that I put one on anytime I'm cooking. One of the first videos I shared on my YouTube channel was how to make a pizza crust from scratch. I've heard that 2020 was the year of sourdough starts. It seems that a ton of people started one during the pandemic. I am no exception to this. I was exposed to the concept of sourdough when I was finding it increasingly difficult to find yeast to make bread from scratch. The benefit of sourdough is that you don't have to have yeast. The fermentation of the dough allows it to rise all on its own. I have modified my pizza crust recipe. I include yeast, but I also add a scoop of sourdough as well. I make my pizza dough crust every Thursday so that it's ready for us to enjoy for our Friday night pizza. I'll make sure to type out the ingredients that I use for my pizza dough in the description box down below. And if you don't have a sourdough start of your own, I'll also put a link to the video that I made showing how to make it with just flour and water and yeast. Sometimes I like to switch up the recipe a little bit. Today, instead of using regular honey, I'm using a spicy honey that I found at Trader Joe's. I'll let you know how it turns out. I'd like to introduce you to my most used kitchen appliance. I use this bread machine multiple times weekly. I use it to make jams, I use it to make yogurt, bake bread, and make doughs. Today, I'm going to use it to just mix all of the ingredients together and do the initial rise of our crust. While that's working, I'm going to go ahead and feed my sourdough start. It's so easy to have a sourdough start. All it takes is flour and water. I've used my discard in my dough today, adding 1 cup to our crust. Now I'm going to just pour in a cup of flour, a cup of water, and mix it together. I store my sourdough start in the refrigerator so that it doesn't have to be fed as regularly. I was really overwhelmed with the concept of sourdough initially, and admittedly, my first was a total flop. I ended up throwing it out, convinced that it just was not something I'd be able to perfect. A couple months later, I decided to give it another whirl. And this has been thriving for nearly a year. Today on the laundry list, the shower curtain and all of our towels. I live in a very small house. We only have 1 shower and all have to share it as a family. Now, having a white shower curtain might seem a little bit silly, and admittedly, I'm having to launder it regularly. Between sticky fingers and dirty little toes, there's always something smudged on this shower curtain, but nothing a little bleach can't handle. I just remove it and try to stick it into the washing machine at least once a week. Here's the beauty of a bread machine. 120 minutes later, and it's done. No work from me. All I have to do is plop it on the counter, knead it a couple of times, and stick it into a well-greased bowl. Making pizza dough from scratch is not difficult, but it makes all the difference in the flavor of the pizza. My family eats pizza every single Friday. My husband makes it, and it's something that the kids look forward to. One of my children always complains when he eats pizza anywhere else, because in his words, it's just not as good as Daddy's. Pizza dough gets stored in the refrigerator until we're ready to use it in the morning, with the exception of twice, once at night and once the following morning, when I do the best part of the whole process: deflate it and then flip it over. Satisfying, isn't it? I love the process of making dough from scratch. If you've been too overwhelmed to try it, I really suggest you give it a whirl. As for me, that concludes my homemaking for the day. I'm going to pour myself a hot cup of tea, sit down, and enjoy a couple of minutes of solitude before the kids need picked up from camp and the evening routine starts to bustle. Today's tea, English breakfast. I like to serve mine with just a splash of milk. Really, I add the milk to add a tiny bit of creaminess, but also to cool down the glass. If you're new to my channel, and you haven't done so already, I would love if you would join my little YouTube community by subscribing. You can do so by clicking on my face on the left-hand side of your screen. If you'd like to watch a playlist of cleaning videos, I have it for you on the right-hand side of your screen, as well as a video that YouTube thinks that you would enjoy. I hope you're all doing well. Bye!